vault first. Arizona ranked 23rd in the country coming into tonight. They will start things over on bars. So the Utah lineup, Kari Lee, Macy Roberts, Alexia Birch, McKenna Merrill Giles in the 4 slot. Michaela Skinner going 5th and Kim Tesson 6th. Here's Kari Lee.
Kari just stuck her Yurchenko full vault. That is a huge start for us. These girls really have been working on their sticks this year, and it is proving to be present. Kari had great height off the table, good distance, and heel clicked right at the end to solidify that stick. Great start.
Yeah, Tom Farr saying this team's been working on the form and the twist and really working on sticks as well, and it all ties together. And a great start for Kari Lee. She's ranked 21st in the country on the vault last week, had a season low of 9.825. She's gone as high as 9.875 this year. Now over to bars for Arizona. Haley Henriksen will get things started.
Haley just mounted the bar and caught a great Jaeger connected directly to a bail. Hit that high bar handstand. Now moving into the dismount, winding up. She did a full twisting double layout, which is a huge dismount. Very difficult. Had a little bit of a big step backwards, but great bar routine. Great start for Arizona.
So Haley Henriksen, a senior from Fort Wayne, Indiana, had a 9.85 at the 2018 Pac-12 Championships on bars. Last week just a 9.6. Her season best at 9.775, so she leads things off for Arizona over on bars. Next up for the Utes, Macy Roberts.
Macy has been putting up some consistent vaults, so let's see. Really big height and distance. That was a very big vault for Macy. A little bit of a hop back, but great second vault.
Macy Roberts, a senior transfer from Maryland out of McDonald, Tennessee. Ranked 16th in the country on vault coming into tonight. She's been 9.85 plus in all 4 meets this season. Or at least 9.85, I should say. Had a 9.9 season high at BYU. So Macy Roberts, again, going vault and floor tonight.
Yeah, Macy has been really, when she was interviewed in an article that I read the other day, she said, "This is it for me for gymnastics. I realized I needed to give it my all every single day when I started training to the last day I compete." So she really has that senior mentality, and it's proving in her competition.
All right, over to bars. Mackenzie Kane, a freshman from Tucson, up next for Arizona. She was the regional bars champion in 2017, also qualified for regionals 15 through 18 in her pre-college career.
She has some very interesting blind change work on bars, which is very unique. She's been hitting most of her handstands so far. Her major release move was a Jaeger. She does a double front dismount. Had a kind of a larger step forward, so she'll get deducted a bit for that. But good, solid second bar routine for Arizona.
All right, so bars all about release moves, transitions, and the details. Trying to hit your handstands on top. Want to be 9 degrees up, straight hips, straight back, toes pointed. Also distance from the bar, a huge factor in the scoring. Back to vault now for the Utes. Alexia Birch is third up for Utah.
All right, Lexi is in her sophomore season with the Utes. And she stuck her Yurchenko full. These girls are really getting down on their landings, which is great to see. Third person up. So really, we've had 3 vaults, 2 stuck. Great percentage so far.
Great start for the Utes. Birch, a sophomore from Sparks, Nevada, out of Flips USA Gymnastics. Career best score for her, a 9.875 against BYU. She's been 9.8 plus all 4 meets. And a 9.825 last week. So Birch, the first of her 3 events tonight. The first couple of scores are up. Kari Lee, a 9.875 to start things. Macy Roberts, a 9.825. So 2 pretty good scores for the Utes to precede Birch. And for Arizona, Henriksen. Haley Henderson, a 9.75. Still waiting Kane's score, and Heather Swanson will be third up in just a moment for Arizona. And now the score for Kane is up, a 9.6. That's their lowest so far through 2 competitors.
All right.
So Kari Lee ties her season highest score as the first up on vault.
Just got a blindfold to Tkachev over on bars. Handstand on high bar to her pack transition. What we look for on bars is hit handstands, technical execution with form, and good tempo on their swings, and just finished her routine with a double layout, a little step back, but good third bar routine for Arizona.
Heather Swanson, a junior from Parkland, Florida, had a career-high score of 9.775 last week against Cal. That's the second time she's hit that score in her career. So Swanson was third up for Arizona over on bars. Utah ready for its fourth competitor on vault. McKenna Merrill Giles going third to last tonight.
And McKenna does a unique vault. She does a Yurchenko 1.5, which starts at a 10.0. Our other three vaults that went ahead of her start at 9.95s because they're a Yurchenko full. McKenna just performed a really great height amplitude Yurchenko 1.5. Took a little bit of a step forward, but you always want to see that vault move forward as opposed to moving backward. That means she was flipping and rotating in the correct direction.
Yeah, McKenna getting better height off the table this year. She goes to that 1.5, and McKenna Merrill Giles from Pleasant Grove, Utah, had the victory in the vault against Arizona State last week with a 9.9. She's been 9.85 or better all four meets this year on vault. Her season best, again, that 9.9 score. She's hit that 3 times. First team All-American on that event last year. Looking for another good score from McKenna Merrill Giles. Alexia Birch so far, team best 9.9 is the third best score for Utah. So Birch with a career high on vault.
All right, moving to bars, we have Maddie Linden. Just performed Pack Salto from her high to low transition. Moving up to the bar, nice form. She has really great execution on this event. Really, really unique bar transition for her release move. And moving through to a blind full double back dismount. Great fourth bar routine for Arizona. I'm seeing they have really good difficulty in their skills as well as good form. So, like we said, going back to their coaching staff, they've done a really great job, with recruiting and with coaching these girls with their, our fifth meet in?
Yes.
They're looking good.
They sure
They
are.
definitely are a team on the rise and looks like they're ready to compete tonight.
So Maddie Layden, a junior from Melbourne, Australia, was a member of the Australian World Championships team back in 2015. Here's Skinner.
All right, Michaela just performed a Yurchenko double twist. A little bit of a hop back, didn't find that stick exactly, but as we know, her vault is big and only one of the few in the nation to perform a Yurchenko double twist, so has high difficulty.
So Michaela Skinner for the Utes. Last week, a 9.875 on vault. She's ranked second in the country on this event. She won the first 3 times out on vault this season, but not last week. She's the defending NCAA champion on vault with a 9.9375 at Nationals. Kim Tess will be last up for the Utes on vault. So McKenna Merrill Giles, after Birch's 9.9, gets a 9.85. And scoring now over on bars for Arizona Swanson had a 9.65. So waiting Layden's score, and Spencer Birham is up next.
Yep, and she just performed a Ray, which is a toe shoot Tkachev, which is her major release move. She was a little bit close to the bar and bent her arms a bit, so they'll take a deduction on that. But moving through this bar routine with good tempo, moving into the dismount, has a double layout, took a hop and a couple steps back. And that's one thing you kind of want to avoid doing, is you want to make the least amount of movement with your feet as possible. Always we're looking for a stick, but a stick and a step back is better than a stick and a hop back. A step back shows the judges you have more control as opposed to a hop, which is you're kind of still moving with your momentum as opposed to in control with a step. So she had a mix of both, so she'll get hit a little bit for that.
So Danielle Spencer Birham, a senior from Scottsdale, Arizona, had a 9.9 career best score last week against Cal.
Yes,
She's been 9.85 or better 3 times already this year.
Yes, and we actually just got word Kim Tesson is going to be scratching from the event tonight. Looks like they're going to just put her on bars.
Okay.
So she's gripping up right now. So I think that might be, we don't have an exact reason for that right now, but I'm thinking, we had our 5 good vaulters go. We have a good score so far, have some high 9.8s and a 9.9, and she might not be in a position right now to need to do a vault. So we're early again in the season and looking for sustainability of our team and pacing ourselves, and I think that is why we won't see Kim perform tonight.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. She's been working on a 1.5, not quite ready. She went last week on vault against Arizona State, and Kim Tesson last week posting a score of just 9.675, so maybe not quite where she wants to be to perform at this point. And as you said, some good scores in front of her as Michaela Skinner, shy of a 9.9, but did get a 9.875. Merrill Giles a 9.85 as well, 9.9 by Burt. So the Utes in good shape on that event. Arizona Layden getting a score 9.75, still waiting a score from Spencer Bierham, and now Berg performing.
I'll recap her bar routine a bit. She did a release move straight into a bar-to-bar transition, and after that bar-to-bar transition, which was a bail, she hit her feet on the ground, and that will give her a pretty big deduction because she hit a part of the equipment that she should not be. But she ended up doing a really great dismount, stuck her full twisting double back. So we'll still see a good score from her, but it'll be a little bit lower due to that her feet hitting the mat in her bar-to-bar transition.
So Christina Berg had a 9.9 against Utah back in 2018. Qualified for regionals as an individual last year. So capable of a good score over there. We'll check the scoring in just a moment. So that will do it for our first rotation.
Event. Yep, absolutely. And I think what's important for our fans to know, too, is sometimes you got to hold people back, and that's what we're doing tonight. We're going to hold Michaela back on floor, and the coaches decided to hold Kim back on vault. And coaches know best sometimes better than the athletes. I'm sure Kim was really ready to perform tonight, but at the same time, we want her to be able to perform when it comes to bigger competitions down the road. So Tom always had said, and on the team is when I was on it, and I'm sure he says it now, is availability equals sustainability. So you got to make sure you have available gymnasts to sustain through the season. And that's what we're trying to do tonight, pacing. Yep,
absolutely. All right, America First is proud to present Red Rocks Gymnastics all season. Visit AmericaFirst.com to learn why joining the state's #1 credit union means you'll always be part of a winning financial team. That's America First Credit Union. We'll come back and check the scores from vaults for Utah and bars for Arizona in just a moment. This is Red Rocks Gymnastics done on vault this year. Last week on bars for the Utes, they scored 49.5 at Arizona State. That was a season best score.
Absolutely. This team has been proving themselves to remain competitive.
All right. Adria Parks first up on vault for Arizona.
She just performed a Yurchenko full. Again, that vault for our fans starts at a 9.95, not a 10.0. Had a little hop back, but really great distance and height off the table. Her arms were a little bit low when she ended her twist, so that means her chest dropped a little bit. We want to usually see a chest up and a little bit higher amplitude off the table, but great start for Arizona.
So Parks with a 9.775, tying her career high last week against Cal. This is the 5th time she's been on vault, sophomore from West Des Moines, Iowa. And Carly starts things on bars for Utah tonight.
Kari has been a person that you can stick in that starting lineup spot on bars, or sometimes she's been in and out of this lineup. So tonight, since we have Crystal out, we're seeing Kari in, and she's been doing a great routine so far, performing her blind change, front giant to a straight double back dismount. Tom Farden looks excited with that routine, so does the team, and so does Kari. Great start for the Red Rocks.
You want someone who can stick to go first. It could be contagious, and Kari Lee, the veteran senior, getting things started for Utah over there on bars tonight. Kari Lee going all around for just the 2nd time this year. She went all around in the first meet against Penn State, scored a 38.975 for Lee over on bars. She has a season high of 9.825 against Penn State. That's the only time she went on bars this year before tonight. So
yep, Kim has been in that starter spot a little bit through season, but as we said, Kim's one that we're going to pace, and Kari got to go in tonight, did a great bar routine. She's consistent, she has great execution, and put up a great bar routine.
All right, Jenny Leung, junior from Houston, Texas, was second up for Arizona on vault.
She performed a Yurchenko full, had a big hop backwards, and like I said before, we're looking for either a stick or a 2-foot landing and a step back. Hops show the judge that it's still a little out of control. So she had a pretty big hop back, but stayed on her feet, so good second vault for Arizona.
Leung with a 9.7 on vault last week. She's gone as high as 9.75 this year. The first performer for Arizona, Adria Parks on vault with a 9.70. Kari Lee starts Utah with a 9.8. Over on bars, and second up for the Utes is Hunter Dula.
Hunter Dula is a freshman for the Red Rocks. Just performed a blind change to a Dikachev, to a Jaeger. And moving into her bail. Her bail was a little bit short. We're looking for that direct 180 handstand. a little bit short on high bar handstand too, moving into a really unique skill called a stalder, which shows her flexibility. And she got her stick on that double back dismount. She looks excited by that. It's great to see her back in the lineup.
Yeah, she had mono this fall. That set her back a bit. She's been on bars with 9.75s all 3 times she's gone this year. As a score, she won exhibition against Oregon State, so Hunter Dula. She's been in that second spot the last 3 meets, just scoring 9.75s, but might do better than that tonight, I think.
I think so, and this is a good confidence booster for Hunter, and I'm looking at her right now, and she looks pretty excited by that. And knowing her competition style, she's one that's a little more of an intense competitor. To see her a little bit light tonight and smiling, I'm thinking she's a little more confident as well as happy with that performance tonight.
Okay, Maddie Latham went third for Arizona on vault late in this season with a career best of 9.875 in the quad meet earlier on. She had a 9.8 last week, but she's been below a 9.8 a couple of times. Latham going all around tonight for Arizona.
Maddie just did a great Yurchenko full and stuck it. She found the stick landing. However, her chest was a little bit low, which judges are obviously looking for you to fully rotate. So when your chest is a little bit low, that means you're a little bit short. So she might get deducted a bit for that, but she found that stuck landing.
All right, Kim Tessin was a scratch on vault, so this will be her only event tonight. Tessin, a junior from Orem, Utah.
All right. Kim just mounted the bar. Blind change into her release, caught her release move, showing great form so far. Kim is very dynamic on this event, and by dynamic I mean she hits her handstands and everything's very sharp, which judges like to see. That shows that you're finding your positions right on top of the bar. Moving into her dismount, which is a full twisting double back, and looks like she found that landing. She's excited. Great bar routine for Kim. Glad to see her in the lineup.
This was a great event for her last year as a sophomore. Had a career-high score of 9.9 3 times in 2018. Her season best score so far, a 9.85 against Penn State in the opener. She's been 9.8 or better 3 times, including a 9.825 last week. That 9-1 score against BYU really holding her average down, but this has been, again, a very strong event for Kim Tessin.
She's, as I said, dynamic on this event. When she's on, she's on. And the inconsistency sometimes could probably be proving of she has a nagging shoulder injury too, and that's a little bit hard to deal with, especially on an event that's so shoulder heavy.
All right, Daniel Spencer-Byram, second to last for Arizona, or mate that, Courtney Coles.
Yep, Courtney just performed a Yurchenko full on vault. She was a little bit close to the vault, which means her hands, she didn't get too much distance, and judges are looking for height, so the amount of amplitude you get off the table as well as distance away from the table, and she was a little bit close, so you're always looking to be a couple feet back from the table, and she was a little close to it, so the judges might take it on that, but good Yurchenko full.
All right, scoring so far on bars, Carly a 9.8, Hunter Dula a 9.8 as well. We've seen a 9.9, and now a 9.875 put up for Kim Tessin as the third performer on bars. For Arizona on vault, Parks went 9.7, Leung a 9.6, and Layden a 9.8. Now McKenna Merrill-Giles, fourth up for the Utes on bars.
McKenna performs a really unique skill on bars called a Delchev, and it's a very difficult release move. She's really honed in on the technique on that over the past 2 years. It looks stunning. She's one that has great execution, great tempo in her swing, and going into her dismount, which is a full twisting double back. A little bit of a hop, but she found that landing. Great bar routine for McKenna. Over the years, she's a taller gymnast, so you expect this event to maybe not necessarily be her forte because smaller bodies might swing faster on bars, some people think.
Yep.
But man, has she found the right technique to work with her body type. And she and Tom have worked really well together on the technical side of gymnastics, and you can see the refinement in her skills, and it proves in her scores.
Well, the scores have been going down. Before last week, she had a 9.9 against Arizona State. She's been a 9.85 pretty consistently during her career in this event. We'll see what her score is in just a moment. And now Heather Swanson for Arizona on vault.
Arizona has put up all Yurchenko fulls so far. Heather just had really great distance in that, seeing the replay. A little bit of a hop back and a minor step, so still looking for sticks. That's the main differentiator in scores when it comes to vault and doing the same vault. A Yurchenko full is the most consistent vault performed in college gymnastics, but when you start to see a score differentiator, it's the height, the amplitude, and the sticks that's going to make that score go up.
All right, Missy Reinstadler, a huge score last week at ASU. On bars, a career-high 9.95 for the win. She's second to last for Utah tonight on this event.
This is Missy's specialty event, and she is gorgeous to watch on it. At ASU last weekend, man, did she perform a lights-out routine. I thought it was going to go 10 maybe. Right now, she's seamlessly moving through this bar routine, performed a great Jaeger. Her bar-to-bar transition, she's hit her handstands, performed a full twisting, double back, a little hop back. She didn't find the stick quite like she did at Arizona last weekend, but great bar routine for Missy.
Missy Reinstadler, the Pac-12 Conference co-runner-up back in 2017. She's gone as high as 9.95. Again, that was last week. Her previous best score was a 9.9. That was hit twice, both in 17 and 18 at the Pac-12 championships. And for Missy, that's going very high.
Yeah, Missy's one to watch on the. I see her rising in the national stage on that event.
Okay, last up, Mackenzie Kane on vault for Arizona.
Mackenzie performed a bit of a different vault than the other girls. All the girls so far in the Arizona team have been performing Yurchenko layout full twist. She just did a Yurchenko tucked full twist, which doesn't have a difference in the start value. It still starts at a 9.95. She had a little bit of a form break towards the end. Her legs separated, and she took a step back. So we might see that score a little bit lower, but Arizona put all their vaults on their feet tonight. So we're moving on.
That's good for them. All right, Courtney Cole scoring a 9.775. That's her second lowest score. Also, the score for Heather Swanson, a 9.8. And for McKenna Merrill-Giles scoring a 9.9. That's a team high for the Utes before they post a score. Missy Reinstadler. And now last up for the Utes on bars, Michaela Skinner.
Michaela is proven to use this anchor spot to her ability. She just added this year a Toshu Dekachev, which is called Array, and that adds difficulty to her bar routine. She moved her bar-to-bar transition, looked seamless, hit that handstand on the high bar directly into a toe shoot, into a full twisting double back, and she stuck the landing. That's exactly what we're looking for from Michaela, that anchor spot. Scores are building through the night, and she just capitalized upon a great bar routine for herself as well as for the team.
She has really cleaned things up over on bars, and Megan Barza
has.
says she's got a chance to win a national championship now
Absolutely.
in this event.
Her detail, and as I was talking about before with you, is refinement. We're at the part of season where what's going to separate you from the top of the competition is how you can refine your skills and make to the judge look like that was the easiest thing you've ever done. And I'm pretty sure for those that are watching here in person, man, that looked very easy for Michaela.
Michaela Skinner, a season-high score of 9.95 last week. She's won bars all four meets so far this year. Another nice performance for Michaela. Missy Reinstadler went 9.825. Still a pretty solid performance for Missy over on bars. The low score right now for Utah. They've got 9.8s by Lee and Dula at the start. That's how you want. You want to build scores throughout. Utah did that tonight.
Yep.
And for Arizona, Swanson goes 9.8, and the last score just posted, Mackenzie King with a 9.725. So the 9-6 score by Leung is dropped for Arizona. So the Wildcats scoring a 48.4.
Now, Lexia Birch had her opportunity to exhibition, and exhibition routines are used not necessarily or for our fans, exhibition routines are used to give a gymnast the opportunity to compete in front of the fans in a competition setting, but it does not go towards any team score. So their coaches are giving Lexi the opportunity to swing bars tonight. She did unfortunately fall on her major release move, so that might be why we don't see her in the lineup right now, but it's great to give people the opportunity to get this experience. Competition experience is extremely important. The judges want to see our lineups, and our coaches want to see how you can transition your training into a competitive environment.
So that will do it for our second rotation. The final score has been posted. Michaela Skinner scoring a 9.9 tonight over on bars for Utah. That ties the top score, McKenna Merrill-Giles. They both go 9.9s for Utah. Utah scoring a 49.3 on bars tonight. That's after a 49.325 on vault. Arizona scores a 48.4 over on bars tonight, and we'll check their vault score in just a moment for Arizona. But the team scoring at this point, Utah 98.625, Arizona 97.2. Utah out to a sizable lead through the first two rotations.
Arizona's looking great so far. Both of the teams are. They're here ready to compete. When you're at this part in the season, you have a couple competitions under your belt. Lineups are still changing on both sides, meaning for both teams, lineups are varying. Different routines are being shown, and I'm impressed with Arizona so far. There's been hit routines all around. As a team consistently in the last few years, Arizona has struggled to perform at the top of the Pac-12, and they look like they're ones that are, as we've said, they're just kind of on the rise. They're getting better recruits in. Their coaching has changed. That assistant that had been with the program for a long time, he knows the culture. He knows after 19 years, you got another program front and back. So to see him in a head coach role, I'm sure over this next season and seasons to come, he'll be able to facilitate this team to be a main competitor.
All right, so again, our second rotation scores. Arizona a 48-8. On vault, Utah goes 49-3 over on bars. Halfway through this one on a Friday, Utah in command over Arizona, 98.625 to 97.2. Back with our third rotation in just a moment. This is Red Rocks Gymnastics from Learfield.
Where she's kind of one of those gamers. We saw she did that on vault tonight, and I think if she carries the momentum that she's had in training and feeding off of what she's done during this meet, this should be a successful beam routine.
All right, so Alexia on the beam for Utah to lead things off.
Lexi has a very poised look to her on beam, as well as a very sharp, confident demeanor, which she kind of tumbles the beam as opposed to dances the beam. Here's that series that she fell on last weekend, and she just nailed it. Moved across the beam, doing a back handspring layout step out really well. She does a ring jump, a little bit of a balance check, which for our fans, balance check is just a minor wobble, a little tweak, but very minimal deduction.
She's the best score so far for Alexia at 9.775 against BYU. Fights to stay on and just could not save it.
Dang. She did a cat leap into a front aerial, and that front aerial is a blind landing skill. You do see the beam for a majority of it, but right when you come up, you lose sight of it. And as soon as she lost sight of it, she dipped her shoulders a little bit, which made her center of balance go off. And she fought for it. She did. She tried to tough it out, but the gravity got the more of her. So counting a fall on that for her. Moving through, she did a switch leap straddle quarter. Nailed that. Did her twisting gainer full dismount. A little bit of a step there. So another fall for Lexi, but we have a solid beam lineup. We'll pick it back up.
Just have to keep putting her out there. I know Megan is very encouraged about her potential in this event.
Absolutely. And you know what? The beam's 4 inches. There's some human error that happens too, and a little bit of a mental challenge to be in that leadoff spot too, because you want to set the tempo, and it's a big roll, and it can be a little nerve-wracking. But she got through that beam routine well, regardless of the fall.
All right, so no room now for error on the beam for Utah with Birch's fall to start things off, and now Haley Hendrickson to start things for Arizona over on floor.
Haley just started having fun with this routine so far and did a rounded back handspring double back as her first tumbling pass. And for college, floor is so fun. It's the fans are the most engaged in this one. There's music, there's dance. You get to see a little more of a personality of the gymnast on floor. So it's always a fan favorite when it comes to floor music playing. She just performed a front handspring full into a punch front. That gives you connective bonus.
3 tumbling passes in this event, all about perceiving perfection.
Absolutely.
It's an entertainment element as well.
Yes. That's the part our fans like. That's the part as gymnasts you get to enjoy as well. And it's kind of growing up doing club gymnastics, which gets most of the girls to college gymnastics. It's not as much of an emphasis on the performance as it is in college. She did a round off 1.5 punch front half. So that connective bonus, that as more as you can connect in tumbling passes, the more bonus you get, which judges look for something to change up. They have a little cat sound for their Wildcats. That's cool.
Fun finish. Yeah, she went 9.775 last week against Cal on floor. That was her career high. Haley Hendrickson, a senior from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Her father, Wayne, wrestled at Wisconsin. That's a Big Ten sport. But Hendrickson out here in the desert, two-time academic, Alba mentioned all Pac-12 the last 2 years. So Birch again a fall to open things up for Utah over on beam. And now Shannon McNatt, who has been leadoff at times this year, second up for the Utes. Almost a combination of the first two are capable leadoff performers for Utah in this event.
Yep. I'm interested to see how Shannon will handle the pressure now being in that second spot, seeing a fall in front of her. This is where you have to kind of turn your mind off and let your automatic pilot turn on. And what I like to talk about on balance beam is a lot of the mental side of the sport shows itself in this event. There's so much room for error, and you cannot let your brain get the most of you. So what Shannon just performed on beam for her connective series is a front aerial back handspring. And it's all about that connection. You have to have fluid movement from one skill to the next. She had a little bit of a rhythm error there, which could affect her start value a bit. So we'll see if the judges caught it. I saw it a bit, so I'm guessing that they might have seen it, but she did continue the movement of her arm, so she might find that connection. She performs a sheep jump in her beam routine, which is an E element, which means it's extremely difficult. So still moving through this beam routine with good tempo. I'm seeing a poised look on Shannon, and what I've heard the coaches say, and I know from experience training beside her, is she really utilizes our sports psychologist to help her refine her mental cues. And that's something really important that obviously the physical training is a huge player in our sport for sure, because we're flipping, twisting, doing everything you shouldn't do. But it comes down to when you're in front of 15,000 people and a judge who's critiquing you on the event, you got to turn your coaching training kind of off and let your body go on autopilot, which takes into account those utilizing that sports psychologist and kind of keeping yourself. Is breathing what's going to work for you? Is visualization what's going to work for you? Everyone's different, but I know Shannon definitely hones in on those.
Unfortunate for her last week, she got a 9.775, but she was judged to not have everything she needed. Her routine was not to level according to the judges. They said she needed another D or E aerial, but that's not the case if you have an E dance movement included. So Megan Barzan saying, I couldn't find the paperwork in time. I couldn't imagine the judges did not know that little element. Otherwise, she would have had a 9.825, which would have been her best score since she was regional champion on beam back in 2017. So unfortunate in that case, but pretty good performance for Shannon tonight over on beam.
Overall, I think it was a great performance. It comes down to our sport of gymnastics is subjective. So you're kind of at the eye of the judge, and sometimes they don't see exactly what you performed or know the rule book as well as you would hope they do. So good thing that happened at the beginning of season and not at a Pac-12 championship or beyond that. So.
All right, Heather Swanson now second up for Arizona on floor. She had a career best 9.85 last week against Cal, but knowing the scores this year above a 9.775, so capable of a big one, but not consistent so far for Swanson on floor.
What proves control, as we've talked about consistently tonight, is with sticking. It's really important on your tumbling passes is to find a solid controlled landing. And she just performed a round back handspring double back, kind of stepped out of it, let her shoulders dip a little bit. She just didn't look as fully in control, and that's where little deductions will add up over time, which will kind of take away from that big score opportunity.
So far tonight for Swanson, a 9.8 on vault, 9.65 on bars. She's not going all around, so this will conclude her performance here on floor.
Round up back handspring double twist punch front. That's a fun tumbling pass, and performed it really well. So good floor routine so far.
So Hendrickson with a 9.75 to open things up. Shannon McNatt scored a 9.550. I thought maybe she would do a little bit better than that, so that follows up the 9.075 by Birch. So a little bit of a rough start for the Utes over on beam.
Yep, it's unfortunately sometimes this is the event that'll get you. What I kind of thought I saw is what I think the judges saw was her connective series was not fully connected. Therefore, you have to have a certain amount of bonus in your routine, and she lacked that due to that misconnection. Therefore, the score gets lower. So she stayed on the beam, which is great, but we needed a little bit of a bigger score there to continue.
All right, so Utah a decent lead through 2 rotations. They'll give a little bit back here now. McKenna Merrill-Giles performing on beam for the Utes.
McKenna is going into her 3-part series, which she does is a back handspring layout step out, which is very difficult. And with her height, I'm surprised she can always fit it on the beam. She goes from one end to the next, but performed it seamlessly. Moving into her acro element, which is a front aerial. She had a little bit of a balance check, but she smoothed that through with a dance. So our fans probably didn't see that. She's worked really well on this event mentally to, like I said, kind of turn off her training and let her body just take over. And that's what she's proving to do. She's walking through this routine a little bit shaky, but it is hard once you've had 2 lower scores. You know you have to kind of step up to the plate. And moving into the dismount, which is a round off 1.5, a little bit of a hop forward, and but good beam routine. Good beam routine for McKenna.
So McKenna Merrill-Giles won beam in the season opener against Penn State with a 9.9. That's her season best score. She's been 9.85 or better 3 times this year, including last week against Arizona State. Her season low score was at Oregon State with a 9.075, but she was a second-team All-American on this event back in 2017. So McKenna Merrill-Giles in need of a good score for the Utes as they're third up after a 9.075 by Birch and a 9.550 by McNatt. First 2 scores on floor for Arizona. Haley Hendrickson with a 9.75, and then Heather Swanson fouls it up with a 9.725. And now Sydney Frieden, sophomore from Westchester, California, up on floor for the Wildcats. She's scored a 9.85 last week for a career best score that came against California.
She has a really great dance so far. She's really pulling in the judges. It's very artistic gymnastics look to her, and I say that in a sense of sometimes, and I think our fans, it's so fun to watch because you get to perform floor and dance a little bit more and show a little more personality. But sometimes that classical look of gymnastics has faded a little bit in the college scene, in my opinion, just due to, I don't know, different choreographers coming in and out and the performance quality in college gymnastics kind of elevating. But she has a kind of a mix of both. That fun college look as well as that really pretty artistic gymnastics look to her. So I'm enjoying her floor routine so far.
McKenna Merrill-Giles, a 9.825. That's the best score so far for Utah tonight. On beam, Kari Lee, Adrian Randall, Michaela Skinner still up for Utah in that event.
Just performed a front layout, front full as her combination bonus pass. Really great floor routine. Great dance, solid tumbling, clean landings. That was a good one for Arizona. I think right now with the Red Rocks on beam, knowing the dynamic of having to kind of come back on an event can make tension within the team and within the lineup, but Kari looks relaxed, she looks poised. She's always, she floats through beam. She's kind of a floater, so if she can just turn on her autopilot tonight, she'll be good.
Utah in front through 2 rotations, 98.625 to 97.2, so a margin of 1.425 was the cushion for Utah. And Carly now the 4th performer on beam for Utah tonight.
Kari has just done her full turn so far. Went well going into her series, which is a back handspring layout step out. Nailed it. Stuck that landing. Kari's beautiful to watch on this event. She makes everything look easy, which flipping over 4 inches from experience got easy towards the end, but not always that. Not always the case.
Well, Kari Lee on beam won this event against Oregon State with a 9.85 to give her 17 career wins.
And she performs a beat jump, aerial, layout full. So she puts 3 skills in one, which adds into her dismount, which is a change from last year. She used to just perform her side aerial on the beam and then used to dismount with a round off double twist. But they changed that this year because of the needs for sticks. And she can stick that aerial full dismount every single time, and she proved to do that tonight. So great beamer team for
Yeah,
Kari.
she had a season high last week, a 9.875 against Arizona State. She's been 9.85 or better 3 times this season. Kari Lee, her first 2 scores, 9.875 on vault, 9.8 on bars. So another good beam performance for the all-rounder tonight for the Utes. And now the Wildcats back over on floor. Courtney Coles as their 4th performer.
Courtney just performed her first tumbling pass, which was a round up back handspring double back. Clean landing. Moving into her second pass. Front layout, front full. You want to always see front tumbling passes move forward. As silly as that sounds, if you don't want to step back in that landing, you want to step forward, which she did. Shows the judge that you're moving the skill in the right direction as opposed to under-rotating. Another part in floor routines, which we don't talk about too much, is leap passes. And leap passes is part of the dance, but it's actually a requirement in a floor routine. And if they aren't performed as they should, that can take away from a start value. And you don't see that very often, but they're also a part of a routine that's in every girl's routine and has to be performed properly to make sure that that start value is at or to par, so starting at a 10.
Sydney Frieden, a sophomore from Westchester, California, had a career best score of 9.85. So Frieden tonight, a 9.8 for her.
Last pass was a round up back handspring 2.5. She had great difficulty in her floor routine. She seems pumped by it, so does her teammates. That was a really, really great floor routine for Arizona.
So Courtney Coles had a career high score of 9.8 against Washington back on January 18th, but just a 9.075 last week. You and I were talking, Maddie, as they build this program in Arizona, they've got some good scores, but very inconsistent so far this year. So far tonight, they've done pretty well as far as being consistent up and down their lineup.
They have, and what you want to see is hit 24 for 24 routines. That gives the team the opportunity to have the biggest team score possible, and Arizona's hit all their routines so far. Not necessarily was it maybe the most difficult routines that they're putting out, but they're putting out consistent gymnastics.
Kari Lee, a huge score for the Utes, a 9.925 on beam. Her career best score was a 9.975 all the way back in 2015 against Michigan. That was before her Achilles injury in 16, her ankle injury back in 17, and really a nice performance by Kari Lee. It seems like now as a better performer, this beam event really one of her strongest.
Kari's a beamer, and that means she's just natural at it. She's automatic. She doesn't think too much about it, and that's the best kind of mentality you can have towards it. So, and our next competitor up, Adrienne Randall, I would say is exactly that. She's a beamer, and as a freshman, to come out and be later in the lineup and prove to be consistent and rise to the occasion, even when there's inconsistencies in front of her, is extremely proving of her talent and her mental strength on this event. She has ice in her veins, is what Megan says. She's a competitive spirit. She's natural on the beam, and she's perfection-driven, which is really caters to what this event needs. Because, like we say, there's 4 inches. She performs a really unique skill, which is a full twisting back handspring swing down. It always looks like she shouldn't land like that. But Adrienne says she loves competing it. She almost looks forward to hearing the oohs and ahs in the crowd because it's such a unique skill, and she has it down to a T where she doesn't even need to think about what she's doing. And she nailed that beam routine tonight. She did a round-off double twist dismount. She looks excited, and she's one of those competitors that, kind of like Hunter as a freshman, they're so overwhelmed that they don't quite have emotion towards anything yet. And I just saw a smile off of Adrienne, so she's excited by that beam routine, and I think the team needed that as well to continue to build momentum tonight.
So Adrienne Randall last week, a 9.825 on beam. Her season best score, a 9.875 against BYU. She's been very consistent, 9.825 or better, all 4 meets this year. Another excellent performance by Randall. That follows up the 9.925 by Kari Lee. So Utah building late in this beam set. Over the floor now. And by the way, Courtney Coles, the 4th performer, a 9.825 as Arizona build scores on the floor. And now performing is Maddie Layden.
Oop, she stayed in bounds. She just did her first tumbling pass. She was a little bit out of control, but she performed a front tug straight into a round-up back handspring double back. And she was moving backward, but she knew where the boundary of the floor was, and she stayed in. Which, you need to stay in the blue carpet part for sure. And if you get out of bounds, that's a deduction. But she kept it in.
I'm always amazed when they come that close and somehow they just know where they are.
I know. I guess as a gymnast, you train so much that you kind of know where your boundaries are. But they do draw a little bit of a chalk line, kind of as an arc around from one corner to one corner of the floor, and that helps. But you have a sixth sense.
Maddie Layden going all around tonight for the Gym Cats. Layden so far a 9.8 on vault, 9.75 on bars. Ready to wrap things up on floor for her third event tonight.
Her second tumbling pass was a round-up back handspring double pike, which she had really great control over. So she's been proving to be one of Arizona's standout competitors tonight, especially in the all-around, doing a really good job.
Well, I tip my cap to Matt. She can complete a Rubik's Cube. This is what she put in her bio. That's one of her highlights. She can complete the Rubik's Cube. I haven't done one yet, so.
Yeah, I can't say I've done that either. But
I've broken several. That doesn't count,
maybe it was a nervous habit of hers when she was growing up in the gym training, it's something to keep her mind off things.
So Adrienne Randall, a 9.825. So Utah getting things back on track after a couple of shaky performances by Birch and McNatt to start things. And now Michaela Skinner to wrap things up on beam for Utah.
It's always important to have, really, it doesn't matter where you are in the lineup, but obviously the end of the lineup is where you're going to have your most consistent competitors. Michaela is one of those that is automatic. And even though they're resting her tonight, we say resting, but she's still on 3 of the 4 events. And she's just like the rest of the girls, and will need a break every once in a while, but has been putting up great routines so far. She is a little shakier tonight on beam than I've seen her before, and I have to say that it's probably very proving of her needing that rest. Once your body isn't as fine-tuned and you don't feel as good, that affects confidence regardless if you're a freshman or if you're an Olympic alternate like Michaela Skinner. Everyone needs a break every once in a while, and she's still moving through this routine with confidence. She looks not necessarily as sharp as she usually does, and I have to think that, she's ready for a little bit of a break, but she's still putting up a score for her team, performed and stuck a very difficult dismount, which is a round-off double back. So still put up a great beam routine. Not necessarily the Michaela Skinner beam routine we're used to, but you know what? I think between you and I and everyone else, I think I'd like to see that later in the season than right now.
Absolutely. A couple deep breaths to keep things going, but she stayed on and, again, stuck the landing. Michaela Skinner won the event on beam last week against Arizona State for her first win of the year in that event with a 9.925. Not sure she'll quite get that tonight. We'll see as the scoring goes up, but still good close for the Utes over on beam. And now the Arizona Gym Cats back over on floor. Christina Berg performing as their final performer.
Christina's going into her first tumbling pass, which is the front handspring double twist. Which is a very difficult opening pass. Looks like her teammates know her floor routine just as well as she does. Just did her leap pass, moving into her second pass.
Junior from Tinley Park, Illinois, had a 9.9 to tie her career high in this event last week against Cal.
Round off 1.5 punch front pike, so that gives her her connective bonus for her tumbling. And you want to see tumbling passes really move across the floor. You want to see the gymnast go from corner to corner. That shows the judge, that you have power and speed moving into your skill, as well as your height and distance. So kind of the same thing we talked about on vault. Vault and floor cater to the power of the athletic part of the gymnast, and that's needed in the height and amplitude, both coming off of the table and in and out of tumbling passes. Moving into her last pass, which was a front handspring, 1.5, which is called a Rudy, and she did a unique jump out of it. And a lot of gymnasts have been choreographing their routines where there's a jump or a flip out of a tumbling pass to make sure that they're solidifying that stick. So
the score is up for Michaela Skinner. She went sub 9.8 tonight, a 7-5 to close things for the Utes. So Utah over on the balance beam. A sub 49 score, a 48.875. Still need to get Berg's score on floor for Arizona. Right now they stand at 48.925. And now Cindy Solowski, exhibition for the Utes over on beam.
I think we're putting exhibitions out too, just to make sure we're utilizing the opportunity to use exhibitions, because those go away as the season goes on. But to make sure that we're giving people the opportunity to try out the competition, especially with injuries that we're now dealing with, as Missy is usually a consistent competitor for us on beam, and Crystal has come in and out of the lineup, and those are two that they're resting and or injured. So it's good to be able to see Sydney out on the beam. She has a very unique style to her, really performs this event as well as is doing a good routine tonight. Does for an aerial back handspring as her connected bonus. Does a unique switch half for her leap. She did a beautiful full turn into a switch leap, split jump. A little balance checks here and there, but she's moving through the routine very well. She'll end the routine with a side aerial full, the exact same dismount as Kari Lee does. And she stuck it, and that's a really great beam routine for Sydney. Megan has told us that she's been a little inconsistent in training. That's maybe why we haven't seen her in a full solidified lineup spot yet, but tonight she just put out a great exhibition, so I'd be interested to see if they give her an opportunity coming up.
Her career best score on this event was a 9.875 against Georgia here late in the season last year. She went 5 times on beam a year ago, just had a rough postseason, and that's why we haven't seen her more this year, but a nice exhibition performance by Solowski to wrap things up for rotation 3. Well, fans, be sure to represent the Red Rocks all season with the latest athletic gear available at the Utah Red Zone or at uredzone.com, the official store for University of Utah Athletics. And we have actually one more performer, exhibition for Arizona over on floor.
Yeah, it looks like Adria Park is going to put up an exhibition floor team tonight. And schools utilize these exhibition opportunities to give girls a shot at the doing their gymnastics under big lights. And she performed a good first tumbling pass so far. Did a round off layout step out. There's a little bit of an acro element in her dance. I did some research on Arizona's coaching staff over the past week, because I saw a new face that I hadn't seen before, and they have an assistant coach, and she was an Oklahoma gymnast in her past, Taylor Spencer. She was previously at the University of North Carolina as a coach and has moved to Arizona in the assistant spot, and she won the team title for Oklahoma in 2014 and actually won the balance beam national championship that year as well. And Arizona did really well on balance beam against Cal at home for them last weekend, so I'm excited to see them get to balance beam. I feel like she might have an influence on, or an impact, or both, really on maybe the confidence and the demeanor on that event with this team, as well as just a new, fresh face to their coaching staff. So it's always good to see gymnasts come back and give back into the sport. So you always like to see, personally, I like to see that happen. So I'm excited to see Arizona move over to balance beam.
Yeah, Oklahoma, really a hot program in recent years, and a big pickup for the Wildcats.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get Taylor Spencer over there as an assistant coach. So the final score for the Utes are up over on beam as the Utah team scoring a 48.875. The Gym Cats over on floor a 49.050. That's their best event score tonight, and the team scoring, still a pretty decent lead for Utah, 147.5 to 146.250. So despite some low scores for the Utes over on beam, they maintain a comfortable lead as we head to the final rotation. Utah to floor, and the Gym Cats to beam. Back with more in just a moment. This is Utah Gymnastics from Learfield. years.
still amazes me how Salt Lake City really just gravitates to this sport and supports the Red Rocks in the physical way that they do and showing up meet after meet. All right, we're on the balance beam with Arizona starting as our leadoff gets going.
Maddie Layden will lead things off.
And she's our all-arounder for Arizona.
Layden so far tonight at 9.8 on vault, 9.750 on bars, and a 9.825 on floor. So not a bad night for Layden. No 9.9s, but some pretty good performances in there.
Oh, and she's, I was doing a little research, and they've said she's from Australia, am I right?
Yes.
By that? So she's far from home. I always wonder, I mean, you get very few breaks, but getting home for her is a little tougher than most of the girls. But she went from warm weather to warm weather. I have to assume that she made that choice on purpose. Doesn't get to see winter too much. But so far, great beam routine. Just performed a pike jump back tuck. It's her acro connective skill.
She's been as high as 9.725 this year. That was against Washington. She's been a career best score of 9.825 in previous years. Just a 9.025 last week, but good
really
performance tonight.
Solid start for her. Maddie just performed a really beautiful dismount, round off 1.5, stuck it. Heel clicked at the end, which shows great control. You need that leadoff spot on beam to get your team rolling and to have scores build and tempo of the team just feel confident. And Maddie did a great start for Arizona on the balance beam.
All right. Over to floor for the Utes, and Macy Roberts, a senior from McDowell, Tennessee, will lead things off for Utah.
Macy knows this leadoff spot well, so she's ready to get her team going. Macy has really come to her own this senior year, and I'm excited to continue to watch her build confidence performance after performance. She starts with a running punch front layout, punch 1.5 twist, which is the pass that she struggled with last year, and I have not seen her make one error on that so far. So she's really worked on her mental training as well as physical training. She did have a hip injury that was prohibiting her from really performing to her best ability last season. And training beside her last year, man, I just knew that was nagging her. And it's so hard to do your best gymnastics when you're hurt or when you have some kind of thing that's impairing you. You can only do mind over matter so much, and I'm glad that Macy was able to get the surgery she needed over the summer to have the senior year start and hopefully progress through the season as she would have hoped.
Macy Roberts, a season-high score on floor of 9.875. She had a season low last week at 9.825, but she's been, for the most part, pretty consistent in that leadoff role for the Utes. Not the most flashy tumbling passes, but very, very solid. And, of course, that great smile, very charismatic.
Exactly. What you need is a consistent competitor that has energy and can get the team going. And Macy is that kid. And she proved to do that tonight. A really great floor routine for Macy.
Now Megan Mars in front of us loves it, as is Robert Ladany. Coaching staff very happy with that leadoff performance from Macy Roberts. Transferred from Maryland in her senior season. Macy Roberts in her first event got a 9.825 on vault. By the way, the event scoring through the first couple of events, Alexia Birch wins vault with a 9.9. Kari Lee and McKenna Skinner second with 9.875s. And over on bars, McKenna Merrill Giles and Skinner tie with 9.9s to win that event tonight.
All right, moving over to beam, we have Jenny from Arizona. Just mounted the beam, getting going. Building off of Maddie, who was the leadoff for Arizona, went 9.750. So we'll see if they can build off of that score.
Jenny Leung, a junior from Houston, Texas, going for the fourth time on beam this year. Her career best score was last week against Cal with a 9.725. So coming off a very strong performance.
Looks confident and poised up on the balance beam. Did her series, backhand spring layout step out. Beautifully moved through that. Does a switch leap, which is a difficult leap combination. You want to hit 180, which means a full split on all of your leaping or jumping elements. And she's a little bit short on that, so that's where small deductions, tenths here and there, play into balance beam. She did a side aerial as her acro, landed with her chest a little bit low, And so a little under-rotated, but stayed on the beam, which is the most important part. And moving into the dismount, which is a round-off 1.5. Her legs separated a bit on the twist, which she'll get deducted for, but really great start. And like I said, maybe I'm thinking this new beam assistant coach from Oklahoma is having a good impact on these girls' confidence on this event.
That's a good point. Just confidence, knowing they have someone who's been there and done it with them in the gym every day as you build this Arizona GymCast program that has to pay huge dividends.
It's huge, and as we have seen time after time, regardless of the team, beam can be an Achilles heel for a team. It's kind of where you make or break the meet, and it's good to have a confident coach behind that event because you got to have that confidence right when you mount the beam. So moving on to floor.
All right, late in the first score on beam, a 9.75. Roberts, a 9.875 to start things on floor for the Utes. And now Kari Lee second up for the Utes.
Kari is a great competitor on this event. She might not have the most difficult tumbling, but really performs to the crowd, has really great air awareness, and does a 2.5 for her first pass. Shows great confidence in that pass as well as control. She does a little bit of a scale to cover up any kind of flaw that she might have out of the landing, but a judge wouldn't take anything from that.
She just brings a good performance quality to this routine. A veteran gymnast, as you said, who just kind of knows how to cover up things, very smooth.
Kari knows the sport of gymnastics front and back. My goodness, she comes from a family of gymnasts, and her parents actually own Flames Gymnastics in Arizona, which she's excited to go back once her collegiate career comes to an end. She'll be going back and helping out her family at home. So gymnastics is a huge part of Kari's life presently. It was in her past, and it will be in her future. She's what I like to call a gym rat.
Yep. And she will be for several years, it sounds like.
Yes, absolutely. All right, moving into her next pass, which is a double twist straight into a punch layout step out, which again, any kind of time when gymnasts can connect their tumbling into an acro element, which is another little flip or a leap out of it, it covers up any kind of flaw you would have from the landing, which her routine is very uniquely choreographed in that sense.
Pretty good elevation. She wrapped things up in front of us here in the near corner. Kari Lee, her season high score this year, a 9.875 against BYU. Last week, a 9.825. So she's been pretty consistent on floor. Nice performance there for Kari Lee. So again, Macy Roberts, a strong lead of 9.875. Lee was second up. Alexia Birch to follow in just a moment. Over on beam for Arizona, Layden at 9.750. Lee Young at 9.8. And now up is Kennedy Davis.
All right, looks like Arizona's building so far in this event. So see what Kennedy.
True freshman from Blue Springs, Missouri. Qualified for nationals 4 times on this event. In fact, placed 23rd in the country in 2018. Had a season best score of 9.775 last week against Cal.
All right. Performing her series, which is the back handspring layout step out. So a triple series is always very difficult to perform, so it's great to see. And she nailed that. Went from one end of the beam to the next, so she used the length of the beam, which means her skills moved in the right direction. Her split leaps were a little bit short, so not that full 180, but good connection there. Tempo on beam is extremely important, and you want to keep your skills moving as well as your dance. You want to show the judge that you can continue to move through the routine, even if it's from dance to skills, that you aren't taking too much time in between. They don't want to see any pauses, and she's doing that well so far.
Little balance check right there.
Full turns tend to be, they're the easiest. People think they're the easiest thing, but man, it is some of the gymnast's least favorite thing to perform. Because you lose sight of the beam and you're spinning fast.
Or do you relax maybe a little bit too much? You get through it and you think, okay, I've made it.
I never really had a trouble with full turns, but I've had girls that really, really are terrified of them.
Yeah.
But they're required, so you have to have it in your beam routine. Great third beam routine for Arizona. They look poised, they look confident, and they're moving through these routines really well.
So that was Kenny Davis, her only event tonight for the true freshman out of Missouri. Utah scoring so far over on floor, 9.875 by both Roberts and by Lee. And Lexi Birch third up for the Utes.
All right, Lexi's had 3 opportunities. Actually, she's been on all events tonight. She didn't necessarily get to count bars because it was an exhibition, but she got a little taste of the all-around tonight.
Rough 9-iron beam, but had a 9-9-iron vault tonight.
Let's hope she can use her. She caters a little more to the power events, which are floor and vault, and just performed a really great round-up back handspring double pike as her opening tumbling pass. Lexi's one of those kids that really, really works hard in the gym, wants to be the best version of herself every time she goes out to perform, and tries to capitalize upon any opportunity she has to get in a lineup spot. As a freshman, she didn't get to see the competition floor as much as she's seeing it right now, but she put in the work over the preseason. She put in a little more time in the strength room, has worked on flexibility. She's refining her gymnastics, and in the college scene, that's what I said before, it's a separator. And I think the coaches are seeing that, which is giving her the opportunity to find lineup spots a bit more.
Lexi Birch out with a knee injury the final 2 weeks of the 2018 regular season. She went on floor for the first time last week at ASU with a 9.775. Her best score, a 9.85 last year at Cal.
Lexi sometimes has a hard time trusting her own training and trusting her own ability and talents. And man, is she talented. She's a beautiful gymnast. She's consistent. She has a fun spirit to her. And I think it's just going to come with time with Lexi. Really great floor routine, though. Solid control under all of her tumbling passes. She looks excited by it. So does the team. So that was a good ending for Lexi for tonight. A little bit rough on beam, but she got to end on a positive note.
Lexi Birch, a former member of the U.S. Junior Olympic national team, and at the JL Nationals in 17, she was 4th on beam, 5th on floor, 10th in the all-around, so both beam and floor, 2 of her specialty events, and a strong performance there for her second effort of the season. Now over to the balance beam, Sydney Frieden, sophomore from Westchester, California.
Already debuting some really pretty flexibility in her movement on beam. She was the one I was talking about on floor, that she had a very beautiful, unique, kind of old school gymnastics look to her. Just very aesthetic in her performance. And it proves to translate over to the other event, balance beam. Her acro series is a back handspring layout step out. I could tell she was a little off in that back handspring, but she did what's called self-correcting, so she was able to find the beam even though it might not have been completely under her feet. So she really used her toes and corrected her shoulders right away to make sure she stayed with her hips aligned to the beam.
Pretty good rhythm overall, though, for her.
Yeah, really great. And like I said, this Arizona team looks good on beam. They really do. And that's an event that can be tough for teams at times. They look poised. They look confident. The coach looks confident. And that's when a coach is standing directly in line with the beam and watching her gymnast perform and clapping them along, that shows me that she has confidence in her gymnast, and they feed off of that as well. So Arizona is looking really great so far. Moving into, I'm thinking this is going to be her dismount. And she does a gainer right off the back of the beam. Didn't find that stick completely. Shuffled around with her feet a little bit, but really great beam routine by Sydney.
So Sydney Frieden last week scoring a 9.8. She's gone as high as 9.85 against Washington back on January 18th. Frieden's out the first 2 rotations tonight, but ramping up her performances on floor and beam. She had a 9.8 on floor tonight. So Alexia Birch, a 9.825 as the third performer for Utah. That's behind the 9.875 efforts of Roberts and Lee.
That's
Arizona,
still a consistent score, yeah.
Sure is. Davis and Leung, both 9.8s as their second and third performers. And now Adrian Randall, 4th up for the Utes on floor.
Adrian has found a floor lineup spot as the season has progressed. Her first tumbling pass is a round-up back handspring full in, which is a full twisting double back. She landed that this time with her chest up a lot higher than she has been in the past, which is why she didn't find that lineup spot right away. That first pass had been a little inconsistent in training. And it looks like she's trained it obviously well and has just competed it really well tonight. She has a very fun, sharp, dynamic dance performance. And you might not see her crack a smile too much on this event yet, but I think that will come with time. She'll learn to really use the crowd to her advantage as she becomes a little more confident knowing that her talent is just in line with all the other girls on this team. As a freshman, sometimes it's hard to see where you are on the totem pole.
Right.
But really, she aligns with everyone just the same. This team has depth, and she's gone through this floor routine really well so far.
Adrienne Randall performing on floor for the third time this year. Her best score was a 9.85 against Oregon State. Did not compete last week.
She just performed a rounded back handspring double pike and nailed that pass. Finished off her floor routine, flashing the U to the crowd. Roberts really pumped by that. So is Tom. That was a big routine for Adrienne as a freshman to come out here. Megan said it right. She has ice in her veins.
Sure does.
She turns it on when she competes, and that's the kind of competitor you want on your team.
So Adrienne Randall out the first two events for Utah, but scored a 9.825 arm beam. And Utah really had to get things on track over there in that third event tonight. And now a very strong floor performance for Adrienne.
She handles pressure well.
Sure does.
She really does. And we're still early in the season. She's a freshman, and we're seeing big scores come up for this kid. I think does that look like a 9.95 to you?
9.95 is what they're showing. How about that?
Now if I don't see her crack a smile here, oh, she better flash the crowd at you. That's a big one. That's huge. Huge.
We thought it was good as we watched it. The judges loved it as well, and the crowd comes to its feet.
She was rewarded tonight. Clean landings, difficult tumbling, great quality performance in her dance and execution in her leaps. That was a great one.
Fantastic job by Adrienne Randall. All right, now the second to last performer over on beam, Haley Hendrickson for the Gym Cats.
She just performed her connecting leap or jump series, which was a beat jump straddle or split three-quarter, Little balance check there. Series is a back handspring, layout, step out, nailed it. Even flashed us a smile. When you smile on beam, that's when you know that you're on autopilot and you're in control, because you already knew the landing was there before it happened, which is what she just did.
Hendrickson, a 9.75 on both bars and floor tonight, but this is her best event. She's been 9.8 or better 3 times this year, including last week. Her season best score, a 9.85 against Arkansas back on January 12th.
I can tell she looks like a beamer. Just did a side aerial acro, performed that really well. Moving through this beam routine, sharp, dynamic, throwing a smile here and there. That means she's in control of this routine. Gainer full off the side, stuck that dismount. Coaches are excited. She's excited. Arizona's building. They really are. And on beam as the last event in a new arena, it's good for them.
Great job. I tell you what, to watch Arizona State last week and now Arizona, when these two teams come back to West Valley City for Pac-12, I'm anxious to see just how far they come over the next 6 weeks.
Me too. And training, you're kind of tempering your training a bit right now, because obviously the goal is to get to peak at postseason. But the more and more you compete as a team, the more chemistry you form on the road, the more you get to understand the dynamics of competition and really, as we said, refine your gymnastics under pressure.
All right, Randall goes 9.95 for the best score tonight on floor, and Sydney Silaski, second to last for Utah.
Man, did she have an amazing floor set at Arizona State on the road. Her biggest yet, 9.925 of the season. Just nailed her rounded back handspring double layout. That pass is huge. Sydney has definitely made this event her specialty. She loves performing it. She caters to, really, she and Robert have a great dynamic, and Robert is her main coach on floor. And they worked really well over the preseason to make sure that they tempered her training enough, because she is nursing a little bit of a shoulder injury, but that she was able to perform this event for her team at the highest level. And she's like, I want 9.9s from here on out. I got that 9.925 that I deserved last weekend, but I'm ready to put that up every weekend.
She never misses that opening pass, and a great second one as well.
Yep, moving a little bit forward on that pass. She was a little bit short, but she's flashing a smile. Has a very fun floor routine. She's one of our the dancers on the team. Has a little bit more of a flair of a floor routine.
Well, she found her way into the lineup in this event last year for the Utes. Her career best score was a 9.925. She did that twice back in 2018. She tied her career high score last week against Arizona State.
And she finishes with a round off 1.5 punch front layout, move that in the right direction. Really great lights out floor routine. For Sydney in front of the home crowd and the Huntsmen, they're excited by it. She's excited. The team looks, this is the right movement for this team. Coming off of beam a little bit shaky, but we're building on floor.
Well, again, no Michaela Skinner tonight, so Solosky, the second to last. McKenna Merrill Giles will close things out. Scoring for the Utes on this event, Roberts a 9.875, same for Kari Lee. Lexi Birch a 9.825, then Randall with the big 9.95. Solosky will go pretty high as well.
Yep. The team's building, and as you said, we're resting, or the team is resting Michaela, and she's been our 9.95, right? But guess who did that tonight? A freshman.
That's awesome.
A freshman rose to the occasion and put that score out for the team when it's needed.
All right, the team scoring through 3 events. Utah a comfortable lead at 147.55 to 146.275. Utah will build on that lead here in the fourth rotation. Courtney Coles last up for the Gym Cats over on beam.
The anchor spot on beam is just as important as the leadoff. This is where you get to capitalize upon all the scores that you've been building and put up a girl that can kind of go lights out. So that means that this team has a lot of confidence in Courtney.
Well, Courtney Coles last week, a 9.825. That was the team's highest score in this event. She's gone as high as 9.85. That came against Washington.
Going into her acro series. It's going to be a back handspring, layout, step out. Nailed that. No bobble, no balance check whatsoever.
Courtney Coles tonight, this is her third event. She went 9.775 on vault, then 9.825 on floor.
Switch leap split jump. Got her leap connective bonus right there. Looking to dismount the beam. And nailed it. Did a full twisting gainer right off the front of the beam. And wow, Arizona on beam. I was really looking forward to watching them on beam tonight because I watched that meet last weekend.
Yeah.
I did research on the coach because I was so impressed by their performance, and they did it again. Consistency. They put very consistent quality routines out tonight on the last event.
Well, great pickup on your behalf to catch up on that last weekend. That was fantastic by Arizona over on beam. Their night is done in terms of scoring, and our last performer, McKenna Merrill Giles, to close things out on floor for the Utes.
All right, this is McKenna, what we learned last weekend when I was watching the meet. I didn't know this ahead of time, but she went back to her old floor dance. And what Megan told us was that she's a senior. She knows her gymnastics front and back. You trust your gymnast at this point, especially when you've seen him compete. And she said she came in with a pro and con list and said, Megan, you know what? I liked my old floor routine better. I knew my dance. I felt more confident performing it. And I just really want to focus on my performance and my tumbling. And she put her old routine back out on the floor after only 2 days of training.
That's amazing.
It is. She's one of a kind. She really is. But what I love about McKenna is she knows gymnastics technically so well, and she understands the sport unlike none other, and is going through this routine great so far. Performed an amazing full twisting double back as her first pass. Moved through her second connected pass. Great. Looks like she flashed me a smile right before she competed, and I knew that she was already confident. I used to help McKenna out a lot with her mental cues on this event, so it's fun to see her enjoying herself her senior year and really performing the routine that she wants to perform, which I'm glad the coaches gave her the ability to do so.
She's gone 9-9 3 times this year, including last week. Season high score of 9.925. She's hit the 10-0 mark before. That was against Georgia in 18. Great performance to wrap things up from McKenna Merrill Giles tonight. Great
closing performance from McKenna. And I could have told you she was going to do that. I knew by the look of her face before she mounted the event. And great tumbling, good execution, looked confident, ended her tumbling pass with a front handspring 1.5 straddle jump to cover any kind of, like we said, when you add a jump or an acro skill out of a tumbling pass, you get rid of any kind of execution the judge could have taken from a landing. So I think we'll see a big score from McKenna.
So in terms of the all-around, Kari Lee, the leader right now, 39.475, but McKenna Merrill Giles to the 9.85 on vault, a 9.9 on bars. That's a 10th better than Lee's score on that event. but she went 9.825 on beam, so she's got a little work to do. A 9.9 being thrown up by the judges across the way. We'll do some quick math.
Yep. Looks like another good score for us. The Red Rocks had some moments tonight. Didn't go 24 for 24 routines. Had a fall on beam from Alexia, and we took the Red Rocks took Kim out of vault. So again, there were varying lineups. Freshmen that rose to the occasion. Michaela that was a little off tonight, and I say a little because to us and fans that she might have felt a lot off, but really in reality she was just very minorly off. She's human. She makes mistakes just like anybody else, and she might be under the microscope a bit more because she's Pac-12 Gymnast of the Week 3 times in a row.
Right.
But we'll cut her a break, and I'm sure she'll be back and better than ever in a blink of an eye.
She's created her own standard. There's no question.
Oh, man, yeah.
So the last 3 scores for the Utes on floor to watch an exhibition performance by Arizona over on beam. But Adrian Randall a 9.95. Sydney Solosky a 9.9. McKenna Merrill-Giles a 9.925. And that allows McKenna Merrill-Giles to edge out Kari Lee for the all-around as Merrill-Giles goes 39.5. Kari Lee 39.475. It was that close.
Yeah. That's the kind of confident comeback you want to see from the Red Rocks, though. Beam might not have gone their way tonight, but man, floor sure did, even with their top performer on floor out of the lineup, which again shows this team's depth and shows that anyone that's put in can show up and perform. And that's what you need, because a season's long. You're going to have to continue to move around lineups, and when you have the ability to do so and produce the results that they did tonight, that's a great indication of a confident, competitive team.
So the team's scoring is posted. Utah once again above a 197, a little bit closer tonight than it has been at times. A 197.075. Arizona a 195.350. So still a comfortable win for the Utes. 5 straight weeks now of 197 plus.
They did it again.
So the Red Rocks happy to be back home, and the sellout crowd of 15,558 enjoyed this performance very much. And back to the scoring on floor. Adrian Randall, the top scorer tonight, a 9.95. That brought the fans to their feet. And from the gym floor to the training floor, stick your landing at the David Eccles School of Business. Visit eccles.utah.edu. That was a very impressive close to the floor tonight. Again, Randall a 9.95, Solosky a 9.9, McKenna Merrill-Giles a 9.925.
Absolutely. I look at those scores and proud of the team that's standing in front of us tonight, and they continue to take advantage of and get behind each other. Really, team chemistry at this point. You're learning each other and how to compete, and how they got to really travel with each other for a bit, and that's when you get to bond as a team. I always loved traveling, even though we didn't get to compete in front of our home fans. It's fun way to bond as a team and come together, and you saw that tonight. They really came together as a team, backed each other, the new girls that got to find lineup spots, as well as the girls that had to rest. And as a team, you bond over those things and are excited and proud of the ones that did step up, which would be Sydney found that 9.9 again on floor tonight. Kari had a great all-around performance, and Macy's been extremely consistent, and Adrian put up some great scores.
Final 3 scores for Arizona on beam. Sydney Frieden goes 9.825. Hendrickson goes 9.775. And Courtney Coles with a 9.875. The Gym Cats on floor made that beam tonight, a 49.075. That was after a 49.075 on floor exercise. So Arizona, its last 2 events, going 49 plus. Utah finishing up on beam a 48.925, but then they put their best event score up on the board tonight on floor, 49.525. That was without Michaela Skinner.
Yeah, this team performed really well tonight. I was impressed by Arizona in ways that I was hoping to be impressed by them, to be honest. And like you said, I'm excited to see this team again come to Utah for the Pac-12 championships and see how much more they've improved. I can see this team refining details over time and really kind of perfecting what they looked like tonight. Is really good.
They sure did.
Really good.
And in this environment, I mean, we're used to it, but
hard to compete
to come
here.
in here, road meet, it's early in the season. They came in front of a big crowd and really showed a lot of poise tonight.
They did. They really did. And so did our team. They got to be back in front of their home fans, and they get to, again, next Saturday against Cal. Good to see how they perform. I'm excited to see. They're a top team. They really are. Obviously, we heard that Arizona edged them out in their home arena last weekend. So they're coming off of a little bit maybe of an unshaky. I'm not sure how they did this weekend yet, if they've competed. But they get to kind of grace the Huntsman floor, and we'll see how the competition looks coming up.
All right. Well, tonight's meet brought to you by Deseret First Credit Union. You can trust the mortgage team at Deseret First to give you a winning mortgage. Membership and eligibility required. An equal housing lender. Visit dfcu.com today. The Arizona Gymcats, Utah's fifth straight 197-plus score to start the year, as Utah tonight wins this one 197.075 to 195.4. So the number 4 team in the country improves to 5-0. We're back with some post-game coverage in just a moment. This is Red Rocks Gymnastics from Learfield.
Somebody's got to hit swoop. How about a round of applause for all those teddy bears? And thank you so much to all those who brought a teddy bear and supported the annual Teddy Bear Toss presented by your local Ford stores. Teddy bears and cash donations will go towards the Huntsman Cancer Center and the Children's Justice Center to help bring comfort to those in their time of need. Remember, don't give up. Don't ever give up.